Kama mzazi nimekuwa kwenye utangazaji kwa muda mrefu both kwenye radio na TV, na kimtazamo wangu naweza sema kwamba lazima tukubali kwamba digital media imekuja na utofauti mkubwa sana. Lakini kitu kimoja ambacho naamini ni kwamba ni ngumu sana kuweza kuiondoa kabisa mainstream media, hasa nikizungumzia radio, kwa sababu the power of radio ni kitu kimoja tofauti sana. Radio kwa mtu ambaye pia yuko mashinani, kwa mtu ambaye yuko mjini, radio ina power ambayo inafikia watu wengi zaidi, na kuna ile inaitwa credibility. Habari ambazo ni za uhakika zinafikia watu wengi, na watu wengi wamezoea kuiamini vitu kama radio. Lakini tukubali kwamba pia digital media ipo hapa kuweza kufanya kazi kwa rahisi. Watu wanapata information kwa haraka zaidi. Si lazima wakae wasubiri waweze kuona habari, kwa sababu wanaweza zipata kupitia kwenye mtandao. Ni rahisi sana. Lakini pia katika hii kuweza kupata information kwa haraka, pia kuna uhakiki wa habari. Watu wengi pia wamekuwa wanaingia katika hii digital media, hawana ujuzi, hawajui kuhusiana na kanuni za wanahabari. Wengi tumeenda kusomea kanuni za wanahabari. Kuna baadhi ya vitu ambavyo huwezi kuviweka nje. Kuna habari ambazo hazina uhakika. That's why siku hizi kuna gossips nyingi sana. Nyingi ni za uongo, kuna habari nyingi za uongo ambazo zinasambaa, kwa sababu sio kila ambaye anaingia katika utangazaji anaelewa kuhusiana na mambo ya wanahabari. Kuna so many quacks. Watu ambao hawana ujuzi wanategemea kutoa habari. Hiki ni kitu ambacho kikweli kinahuzunisha, kwa sababu there so much fake news, kwa sababu sio kila mtu ambaye anatoa habari anafahamu kuhusu wanahabari.
Today is World Press Freedom Day, and the theme is journalism under digital siege. Do you feel, what's your opinion as a digital journalist? Do you feel like the digital space is actually completely killing traditional media? Is that even possible? What is your opinion on that?
I think digital cannot completely kill traditional media, because first of all, I work for Radio Citizen, and most of our listeners, they are ni wale wako mashinani, unaona, wako western mahali, Chavakali mahali, and they only know listening to radio via their kabambe. So even if you tell them to tweet, wana tweet wakienda wapi. Yes, digital is the new thing and it's growing so fast, but we can't completely kill the traditional media, because kuna watu bado familiarize na digital. That's it.
And you're talking about watu wanyoko mashinani and stuff like that. How long do you think it might take for them to actually catch up with the digital world, which is quite the thing in a city like Nairobi? Will it take too long for them to catch up, for Radio Citizen to continue being very hot in the villages? How would you estimate that?
Radio Citizen itabaki kwa hot in the villages. That's a thing. But for them to catch up, I really don't know, unless tuende tukichanuanga wazazi wetu, because that's the only way. Lakini pia they have, as they go about their jobs, mtu analima mahali, anafanya mjengo ama ako shambani, you know, they listen to radio. Sika watu wa Nairobi tutashinda tu hivi, I've had something, I'm tweeting, it's breaking news, I want to be fast. That's why digital media is taking over. But kuna watu atakawa wataiona kwa Facebook, because most of them are on Facebook. Atakawa wataiona kwa Facebook, they'll still come back to TV, Citizen TV or Citizen Radio, to confirm if what I saw, is it true. Kama haijasemwa na mtu wa radio ama mtu wa TV, I don't believe it. So they might catch up, yes, especially with things like Facebook, Twitter kidogo na Instagram, yeah, but they'll still go back to the traditional media. They'll always go back.
Hi Teddy, you good? Today is World Press Freedom Day, and it's a theme. The theme is journalism under digital siege. How do you understand that theme, and do you even believe that journalism is under a siege by the digital, space? How do you understand the theme?
Well, thank you. The digital space has opened up a whole world of opportunities, we should say. But then again, it comes with the infodemic, whereby we're getting fake news that is spreading really fast like wildfire, and of course we're having no regulation online. So for me, it is under siege, given by the premise that the newcomers in the field who do not necessarily take it as seriously as journalistic principles would spell out what journalism is all about. And with these newcomers, they have no regard for what is truth. They have no regard for what makes sense at the end of the day. So for them, it's about churning out this information. And it started with, Trump running for office, and you can see how that spilled over to a whole new world of fake news generators, if I may say.
Well, you've spoken about some of the negatives of, the digital media journalism, but I believe there are a few things that you think the digital, journalists are actually doing right. Would you think they're doing right at this point?
I think when it comes to real-time updates, when it comes to the world of news breaking, it is a new field. They're beating the traditional media in the sense of where do I run to when I want to get my stories fast? I run to Citizen Digital. By the time I'll buy my newspaper the next morning, it will be well over 12 hours. But then you see, with the digital age, here comes a new opportunity for young journalists to actually explore new ways of telling stories. For instance, take Citizen Digital as an example. We have our TikTok pages now, and we're able to churn out content through various audiences, and they're able to get this. And the receptibility just tells you that this is a space that is sprouting at a very fast rate, and in no time, in due course, we'll be able to give it a clap at the end of the year also.
Hey Nimrod, I hope you're good. You are one of the most seasoned journalists in this country and in East Africa probably. Now, but you are from a TV background, and today is World Press Freedom Day. The theme is journalism and a digital sage, actually. You are from the traditional media. I would say that's what you've always been doing, but you see digital is really coming up. What do you think of the theme, and do you see a world where the digital world is really, really going to kill journalism, as they're saying?
Well, I mean, without a doubt, the digital world has really changed how journalism is conducted, or how we cover news nowadays. As you mentioned, I started a long time ago when, the digital space was not properly utilized by media houses, or let me put it this way, it was non-existent. We, in the newsroom back in 2001 or 2000, we had to collect news. You had to have a pen and a paper, write your news, and your news editor had to wait for you to come back to the office, to file your story. Today it's different. I could be somewhere in Marsabit, and my news editor can get the story immediately as it happens. That's what the digital space has done to news. Long are the days that are gone when you'd have to wait for news at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Today, through the phone, through your computer, through tablets, you can gather news from wherever you are. And it has also assisted us in one way or another. Nobody knew that everybody else is a journalist inside them. Because today, somebody can have a phone and see an incident, and they'll record it and they'll send it. For me, that's journalism, because you're passing information, you're passing video clips and stuff like that. So it's helped us. Whether it's going to kill the traditional TV or the traditional media, which is radio or newspapers, is a question that can be debated. And the challenge I see is that a lot of the people today will get news from their phones easily, but they still want to come back and watch that news item on TV, because the digital space probably did not give them so much information or so much footage for them to analyze. So you find sometimes most of the people will go back to that story, and if they don't see it on TV, they'll start questioning the media house through the phone or whatever digital platforms they're using. How come you didn't have this story? So I think we're still at a point where we're working hand in hand with the digital space. Obviously, if it has overtaken broadcast media, because today you will break news through the digital space and not TV. TV will take time. So if it has overtaken, yes, it has. Whether time has come for us to, intertwine these two, traditional media and digital space, the time is now. And I think the space is good. If we have media houses and media editors who understand it quite well, I think we'll use that space quite well.
Today is World Press Freedom Day. You obviously know that, and the theme is journalism and the digital sage. You are a digital journalist. Please explain to us what the theme means to you and whether it's well captured. What does the theme mean to you from a journalism point of view?
According to at least what I understand from a journalist's point of view, journalism has really changed over the years. I mean, at least based on technology. I mean, most of things that we used to read on papers are now online. But also what this means for people is that journalism has also changed, which means, like, for example, journalists these days are exposed to newer digital threats. Like, for example, there is surveillance, there is hacking, which now brings us to the theme of this year. For example, digital media or journalism under siege will mean, like, for example, journalists can get their information or sensitive information they collected from their sources exposed, which might also expose them to instances of litigation or even, say, blackmail from their sources. So this year's theme is trying to really remind government to stay committed to media freedom, because democracy cannot exist without media freedom.
You obviously know that Elon Musk has acquired Twitter, which created a whole controversy across the world, and he called Twitter the digital town square. How do you feel about Twitter is powerful, right? It's very powerful. What do you feel about someone like Elon Musk, who is, I would say, unhinged, acquiring Twitter? Is that gonna work for the people or against the people?
I think that is going to obviously work against the people. Obviously, Elon Musk is a very controversial figure. He's one of the people who are pushing COVID-19 misinformation a while back on Twitter. He's one of the people who've really taken on Twitter and said, why are you blocking people? Why are you blocking media houses for sharing certain information? People should be free. But then when you go to the freedom of press, or the kind of freedom that he's trying to push for, I don't think that will mean well for people. Like, for example, his friends like Trump, who are obviously making very controversial remarks during the last American general election. So I don't think a billionaire necessarily buying Twitter is going to really do well or augur well for press freedom. I think just going to go downhill from here.